Hi and welcome again to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week I take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and we try to identify a particular element of the race that we're going to look back on later as having been a path to finding the winner. Well, this week Saturday racing in Hong Kong at Sha Tin, and the first race we're going to take a look at is race 2, and our winning factor here, the map. Well, we're in class 5 here for the second race, and so there are no stars on the show, but in terms of this grade we have Diamond Legend recently coming down to this grade, and along with horses like Savvy 7 and Little General, who are dropping and have been going well enough in class 4, they're almost rock stars in this kind of company. And the horse I really want to focus on here is Little General, having his first run in class 5, and he's been doing it pretty tough actually in class 4, doing a good job without a lot of luck. And one of the key elements that he's been able to show with his racing is that he's able to go forward in races and take up a tactically prominent position. I think that's going to stand him in good stead here. Now let's have a look at what he's been doing. And 2 starts ago, we're going back to November, race 192. And here you see Little General, after a string of races where he had double figure barrier draws and no luck at all. This time he drew a gate, but unfortunately he was able to take up his forward position this time, and the pace was very strong indeed. In fact, if you have a look at the heat map down the bottom there, the middle 800 metres of this race, a very fast run, and that enabled the back markers to get an advantage. And you see in the straight, all the horses in the finish coming from the back, swooping home late as the leaders tired. Now since then, Little General was tried in December at 1800 metres, and perhaps his gate speed and his tactical abilities should have helped him there. But unfortunately he was caught on a limb here, 3 wide, and once again you see on the heat map a very fast section from the 800 metres to the 400 metres here. He was up near that speed, and that really tested his stamina, and once again he wasn't able to finish the race off. Well, now Little General drops down to the bottom class for the first time, and when we take a look at the map here, I think that tactical ability is going to be important. There doesn't seem to be an awful lot of speed in it, so even though he hasn't got an inside draw, I think Little General will be able to get forward here, use that tactical ability to be up on the pace, and this time assert himself as a horse who may be just a little bit better than class 5. So the tip in race 2, Little General. His winning factor, the map. I think it's important in this race, there's not a lot of speed on offer, and Little General should be able to take advantage of that, put himself in a forward position, and still an advantage over some of his main rivals. The second race we're going to take a look at this week is race 5, and the stable change is the winning factor here. And we take a look at this race, and this is a class 3, 1200 metres, and quite a few of these I think are just making up the numbers. But the real players to me look like Infinity Endeavour, with the benefit of a recent race. Take What You Need, stepping up to 1200 metres. Very Honest Galloper at grade 1, down in the weights. Baltic Success was a big improver at his second start in Hong Kong. And the most interesting runner for me is Far Above. And the reason he's the most interesting runner is that he is the most lightly explored horse in the race. We saw him last season for just 2 runs in Griffin class, and the second time was an impressive win. We're going to take a look at that win now. We're going back to July. This is race 787, and back in the field from an awkward draw. He shows a few signs of greenness in the run here, Far Above, but when it comes time to really put the foot down, he's very strong at the finish. He sweeps past the favourite in the race and runs away to win pretty much as he liked here. And he finished off his race in 22.4 and 22.5 for the last 400 metre sections there, and that made him only the 7th best on the day, although that's not too bad, but it did make him the fastest finisher on the day out of the circle races, and that isn't something we always get in Griffin racing. Now since then, for the new season, Far Above moved from Francis Loy to freshman trainer Douglas White. And I'm sure that regular viewers of this show will know that the stable change is one of my favourite angles in Hong Kong racing. In fact, if I was to advise someone on how to approach betting on Hong Kong without doing any form whatsoever, I would say that stable changes are where you could concentrate and make a profit without doing any work at all. And I thought that this time we'd take a look at stable changes as they relate to first season trainers. Now we're going to take a look at this graphic coming up, and in the last 10 years we've had 7 new trainers in Hong Kong, and as you'll see this list of their first time stable runners coming from other stables shows quite a bit of success for them. So far Douglas is 4 winners on the board from stable transfers first time out. He has a bit of a way to go to catch Frankie Law and particularly Jimmy Ting from last season. But as you can see, all showing a good profit, just blind betting really on their first time stable transfer runners, and they all outperform the market by a considerable amount. And one of the things that has been notable and really likeable about Douglas White's training style at this early stage of his career is the way that he gives horses a really good foundation before they do run first up for him. And it doesn't matter whether they're debutants having their first look at a race course or horses that have raced with other stables and are now running for him. He gives them a solid grounding, not a pretty kind of a trial, which is really for the eye rather than the fitness. And we're going to take a look at the latest trial from Far Above. And in this trial you see him, he's really pushed to the line here, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's often underrated by commentators, the idea that you push horses to the line in trials. That gives them a really solid race going into their first up run, and that's what we want to see. We want to see a fit horse going out to race. And Far Above is going to need that fitness because since the barrier draw came out with gate 14 for him, he's not going to have things easily, but I do think that he's a quality horse. Now, we do have a few front runners engaged here, and I'm hoping that they take them along at a genuine tempo, and that Far Above, he might be in a similar kind of place we saw in that Griffin win, where he's a little bit back in the field, a bit of cover, maybe 3 wide, but able to sweep home and engage that finishing power that he has got. So the tip in race 5, Far Above. His winning factor, the stable change. The Douglas White stable going very, very well with all their runners so far this season, but the stable change horses, very profitable, and I think Far Above, a horse with quite a bit of upside, can be the next one. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Saturday. We'll see you next time.